Hey guys, welcome to this question and answer session with the Pattern Trader. My name is Mark Shawzin, the Pattern Trader. I'll be happy to sit and discuss what's going on in the markets today. Um, I'll share something with you. I know it's probably not believable. Um, I started buying BYND stock yesterday at the pre-opening around $121. And then right after the market opened, I bought about 700 call options on BYND at the 125 strike price. And right now it's trading at $140 in the market. I was anticipating a melt up. I was anticipating a short squeeze. I put a huge bet on. And, as the market opened, my positions were up about $1.5 million. So I know that sounds kind of crazy. And then you're saying to yourself, well, if some guy made $1.5 million, why is he on this thing just talking to me? And probably a good question. I love looking at the markets. I'm looking at the markets anyways. I like talking about the markets, and frankly, I'm injured right now, so I'm just sitting here. I can't really do much. So I enjoy meeting people and talking about the markets. So I made over $1.5 million, actually, even before the market opened today. The market was up $8 in the pre-opening session on BYND. It's a huge short squeeze. Stocks trading at 141, closed around 126 yesterday. So it's up about $15. And I told my wife last night while I was watching TV, I said, I just get this feeling that BYND could be up $20 to $30 today. I just had a feeling that we were going to get this short squeeze. And that's exactly what happened. So, so many times we, look at all these things, but I actually bet on this thing. And so I'm looking at this SXC MK. You've been asking about it all the time. Yeah, it looks like it's got this triangle. It's kind of breaking out. Needs to break above $8. It could happen. Not, So Nugget, I made $1.5 million on the opening today. I know that sounds absurd. I had 5,000 shares that I bought at 121, and I bought 700 of the 125 call options. This was right at the opening yesterday. I sent an email to our elite members the day before yesterday with this buy set up, at around 120. I could see it was trading in the pre-market session yesterday at 121. So I was so excited about this thing. I started buying the stock in the pre-market session. Now you can't buy the options. You have to wait till a regular session. So by the time the stock market opened, BYND was trading about 123, 124. So I started buying these 125 call options. I forgot what I paid for them. $1.52. They're probably trading at about 15 right now. I don't even know. I bought 700 of those. So I had 700 call options, which each option is based on 100 shares. So 700 is worth 70,000 shares. And then I had 5,000. So Cyprian, I'm talking about BYND, Beyond Meat. I'll put it in the message box here. BYND. And so I bought 700 calls right on the opening yesterday, the 125s. I had 5,000 shares at 121. And right now the thing is trading at 141. It's up about $15-16 today. And I think you're going to get a short squeeze. This thing could be up $30 and up $30 tomorrow. So and this is ironically a stock that I've been telling you guys to short all year. I saw that it had to come and break this neckline around $113. Whenever something hits something so many times, it usually, revisits it. And, even when it was at $200, I said, this thing has to come down to this neckline. And it did. It came from $200, crashed the neckline at 113, went to 100, and then it started turning around. And I started feeling, this thing should go down. If this is good, it should go down. And by it turning around, I said, this is going to be a short squeeze, because I felt like it was a trap. So everybody who chased the prices under that 113 neckline now, got trapped. And when, people get trapped, then you can have these short squeezes. And that's exactly what I pictured in my mind. I said, this is going to be a short squeeze. And I invested, I don't know, I put a lot of money into this thing, $600,000 in the stock. And then I put these options on that expire tomorrow, yesterday. So I bought these options that, if I wasn't right, they were going to expire worthless in 2 days. And, and they hit, man. And I don't think it's going to stop here. I mean, this thing could go to $200 quickly. So, again, this is the flexibility in trading where, in one, subsector of the market, I was really short this stock. I've been shorting it for days, weeks, months. And then when it didn't perform like I thought it should under that neckline, that was already a red flag. And then you had a little setup, a little what I call an inside day bar a couple days ago where you had a narrow range. And I thought, so to me, when I look at a trade, it's all about risk. And so I could see that there was very little risk. If I got in at 121, I felt like my risk was like 116. And then I thought my upside could be 200. So I had a $5 risk to make $80. So Nugget says, can you show the evidence that you bought the options? I don't know if I can show a screenshot on this platform. I'd like to. I took some screenshots this morning. I had my partner on the phone when I was liquidating some of these things. So the stock was up $8 in the pre-market session. So based on me having 75,000, 700 calls and 5,000 shares, I was making 500 grand before the market even opened this morning. So, it was kind of, I just wondered, how am I going to handle today? Am I going to stay in? What am I going to do? So, and I got to tell you, I mean, as crazy as it sounds like, I don't really get emotional about my losses or my gains anymore. I can't even comprehend it. It really doesn't change my life. I had, Achilles tendon surgery a couple of weeks ago that went bad, and I've been sitting. I haven't been able to go anywhere. So like money doesn't really matter. I kind of realized as you get older, it's great, but it doesn't solve all your problems. Your health is everything. So I've kind of have a whole new perspective. And here's the other thing. So yesterday I was short this stock, AYX. I think I told you about it. And I was short, a lot of shares, and I was also long the puts. And it was just grinding lower, but it just every day it just couldn't go. And I said, yesterday it's either going to do this thing or it's not. And then it started breaking out the other way. And so I got out with like a $2 loss on the position. But I had a big position, so I lost about 50 grand on that trade. But this is, I think, the evolution and the maturity in my trade is that, to me, in the old days, I would have watched it and waited for it to return and, micromanage it and whatever. And the problem is when you have losses, two things are happening. One is you're spending all your time stressing about this thing, praying that it comes to break even. And the other thing is you're missing out on the opportunity. So I really saw what I wanted to do yesterday in BYND. And so this AYX was kind of like creating this distraction. It was kind of moving up against me and whatever. And I said, you know what? I'm just going to bail on that. I'm going to take my 50 grand hit and I'm going to move on. And it liberated me to then see another opportunity. So I bought Tesla and I bought BYND. I dumped AYX and then I went into BYND. So that's the thing with losses is that, you can't take them personally. Just dump them and move on and find, the next opportunity. So I don't know how, Nugget, how I could show or share information because I'd like to show the image. I just don't think on this platform you can. I don't think I can share anything or upload anything. I can type a message, but I'm not sure if I put an image in here, I probably would have to put it into a Dropbox and upload it. So Jeff says, is that beyond meat? Yeah, it is beyond meat. So yeah, I mean, I was actually with my partner. I was showing him my positions. I was bailing out of some of these things, at the opening. I had so many, and that's the thing. What's happened to me? Sometimes I get so excited. Like yesterday, I just kept on buying shares. I kept on buying the options. Then I kept on buying more options, and then I realized, man, I bought so many. I spent like 150 grand on these options, and the thing is, they expire in 2 days, so I could have lost 150 grand in a blink of an eye. And I kind of like, got a little scared that I got a little overworked up. I just, kept on. So I don't even think about the money. I just, keep reacting to what I'm seeing in terms of the trade. I also like Tesla, by the way. I think Tesla is going to go up another 40, $50 from here, or maybe $300 from here. So I'm long Tesla, I'm long Beyond Meat. And I actually typed to a buddy of mine yesterday, Tesla, Beyond Meat. I said, melt up. I felt like both of these names are going to just have a melt up. So I wish I could. Hey, Mustafa, I've just been talking about this trade I did. So Mustafa, you're in my elite group. You should have received that email 2 days ago on BYND. I don't know if you took it, but I was telling them today that I loaded up on the call options in the stock, and I made $1.5 million on the opening in BYND. So Mustafa says, "Yeah, I got the." So did you take that trade, Mustafa? So this one, as you know, I've hated this stock for 6 months now. I've been betting on the short side, and so when the market shows you something different, doesn't matter what you think, you got to react to what the market's telling you. So it um. So somebody's talking about DoorDash. Yeah, I don't like that name. I think it's going lower. Let me check out Dash real quick. That's actually what's going up today. Yeah, so a lot of these names that I hated for the last 6 months, Zoom, Peloton, Tesla, I'll leave QuantumScape out because that still looks like a dog. But I said on one of my newsletters 2 weeks ago, I said, I think we've put in a really big trading bottom here. Like on Zoom, I don't think it's going to go make new highs, but it was at $275, and I think that it could run to $375. So I think that you could have had these massive, bull runs. I think Tesla now could run back to 660 at least, and maybe it goes to new highs from here. I mean, anything's possible. So yeah, like Snow, Dash, all the names that I hated a couple months ago are all turning around. So Snowflake, SNOW, had earnings yesterday, went down $12 on the earnings, and you can see it's got a key reversal now. So it's made this huge kind of inverted, head and shoulders. And, if it closes on the high of the day today, that's something that I would buy. So I think all of these names are turning around. I think you could have a market melt up where the market, yeah, is at a very high level, but it's been working through the process of getting through the dogs, like the QuantumScapes, and just detonating those names. In the meantime, the good names are just incrementally going higher. So it's been purging all the junk and still going higher. So it's very healthy rotation. And I think now you're setting a stage for a melt up where it could go very quickly to new highs. But either way, BYND and Tesla look like they can just soar from here. Jeff says, how much is the elite? If you guys are interested in my, I'm going to give you an email to contact our team member, Zach, at the Pattern Trader. I'll tell you right now, don't waste your time. The program is $5,000 for the year. You get all of my emails. But look, if you got one email like BYND, I made $1.5 million on one idea. So people say, wow, it sounds like a lot of money. Well, what is the cost of information? So, don't waste Zach's, time if you're not interested. But if money is the issue, we will work with you. We'll help you finance it, whatever. So it's just, this is the information that I send out every day. I told Mustafa to short, QuantumScape at 42, and it went down to 25. So these are the kind of trades that I look for. Also said Mustafa, buy, pound New Zealand. Every time it comes down here, it's a buy. Today it dug in. It did a key reversal. I think it's going to go back up. So Mustafa says, I paid back my elite program in 1 week. So, to me, the elite program is about education. So it's not really about, it's not a signal system. It's not a managed account. It's the idea is to kind of educate you on, price history, how to make money off just price structure. So I saw some quirky setup in BYND and all kinds of red flags went off, and I just put a monster amount. And, if you don't know what you're looking at, you wouldn't have seen that trade. I did a private coaching session yesterday, and I put the chart of BYND without the name on it and didn't tell people what it was. And people were like, saying this is going up, it's down. They couldn't, because it looks like a carnival ride. You couldn't see that this was happening. But I was looking at this one thing where it broke a certain level, didn't follow through. So to me, it was as much about what that didn't do as much as what it was doing. So Beyond Meat was very bearish, and if it was so bearish, the market should have kept on going lower. So last week, Beyond Meat went to about $100, and if it was as bearish as I thought it was, my thing was it was just going to keep going lower. But it turned around and came back through the breakout area, and I just surmised then that everybody that tried to short it under 115 is now short and trapped. And when you have a condition in the market, you have the short squeeze where now anybody who shorted it, if you didn't get out at 100, 110, now it's trading at 140. Now you're getting margin calls from your broker. And then tomorrow's going to be 150 and then 180. And then this is how, people get carried out. They get margin called out. This is what happened in GameStop and AMC. These are short squeeze. They're trap plays. So I just figured that Beyond Meat looked like one of those trap plays, and I just loaded up and made 6 figures in 24 hours. 7 figures. Nellish wants to look at Crocs, CROCO. What is the symbol? CR. What is that? And TSM. So I don't think it has 5 symbols. So TSM. Obviously caught some resistance at 107. It's breaking this downtrend line. So again, these look like, a lot of these trades start looking like busted patterns. So Taiwan Semiconductor, TSM, looked like it had a head and shoulder, and it should have continued lower. By not going lower, it's almost busting the implications of that. And so, yeah, that probably looks like a good buy here. Good long. So Nugget says, I only have 10K, you need 5K. So and it's self-serving, and you can decide what you want to do. And first off, like I said, we will help you, finance something, Nugget, if that's what you want. But to me, and again, it sounds self-serving. It's, what is the value of information? So if you kind of got my emails for like 6 months or a year and you start understanding patterns, so at one point when your life's in a better place, or you have 10 or 20 grand or what have you, or even if you have your 5 grand left over, if you took your 5 grand and bet on BYND, it probably could be 10 grand today. So it's up to you to decide what the value of information is. I'm not trying to sell it. I don't need to sell it. People, it's like, I can appreciate, I'm not on here to sell you guys anything. I love the markets. I'm passionate about the markets. I'm looking at the markets. And so I'm happy to chat about the markets. I'm not looking to make money selling. And I have my business. It's a good business, but I don't make anywhere near my business what I make in my private trading. So I don't need to work. I don't need to trade. I don't need to do anything anymore. And so I can appreciate you guys kind of like querying, first off, what's this guy's motivation? And secondly, if he's making so much money, then why does he need this money? I don't need it. That's the cost of the program. Frankly, people have told me that it's too cheap, that, other people are selling, private coaching and things like this for 15 grand. So I want to make it accessible, and it's up to you to decide what the value of information is. 2 weeks ago, I told our members to get short QuantumScape at 42. I got out at 25. I made 7 figures on that trade. 2 days ago, as Mustafa, who's on here, will tell you, I sent out a setup on BYND to buy it at 120 and a half. And then, the next day it opened about 121, a little bit higher than the buy stop. And if you bought, just anywhere 122, 123 yesterday, you're staring at a stock that, one day later is trading at 141. So you have to decide what the value of that information is. And it's not about those trades. So I could lose on a bunch of trades. It's about the process of understanding price structure. And so over, a month, 3 months, 6 months, you get these emails and I show everything that I'm looking at on the chart. So I was showing the BYND, why I thought there was a bear trap under there, all the price action, what your risk reward was. Then I actually gave you a trade setup where you could buy it at 120 and a half, put your stop loss at 116. So you got a $4 risk for an $80 upside. And then I do a written explanation under the pattern and the setup. So you get all the tools to learn how to make money for yourself. So tomorrow, if I get hit by a bust, then you'll have that knowledge. And so the next BYND, you'll understand what to do. And so again, I'm not trying to sell anything here. I'm not here to promote programs. I'm here chat about the market, and anything you want to talk about. Ubaid said, "Hey Mark, I think Pound New Zealand will explode higher." So Ubaid, I think Pound New Zealand is one of these stealth things that you just got to trust the pattern, and one day you'll wake up and it'll be 1,000 pips higher. So every time this thing dips, I just buy it. Michael says, for the short squeeze plays, when do you know when to get out? If BYND makes a key reversal, will you get out? So, this is now a squeeze. And so my feeling is it goes back to that $200 level, or 180. I can't tell how high it's going to go now. The market will tell me. The market will tell me there's a pattern, there's a reversal, but when something goes straight up like it has for the last 2 days, it can't just now go straight down. So it's got to kind of build away. It's got to take time now to then tell me that this thing is going to reverse. So, I have to make a decision. Do I go into tomorrow when, the calls expire? And if, Beyond Meat is down $5 tomorrow, I'll lose a whole bunch of value. So I'll see how we close at the end today. I mean, we could close at 160 today. I mean, this thing doesn't look like it's done by any extent. I wouldn't be surprised if the thing went to $160 today and went to $180 tomorrow. So I banked some profit today, took a little off the table, but I'm not getting out right now. Valentina wants to know about YY. Is that Yum Brand? What is that? I wouldn't play this one way or another. Obviously looks like some support here, but I wouldn't buy it. James says, I enjoy the time spent with us talking about stocks and will join the service when I'm financially able. So no worries, James. We do have some other programs, the weekly newsletter or other things if you want to just kind of get familiar with what we do. Just send a message at support at the Pattern Trader if you want to learn about our other, or go to the website. So just check out our website. And again, I don't want to seem like I'm promoting anything. I don't use these sessions to promote me or, I just talk, I'm happy to talk about ideas. What do I think about Snap? I haven't looked at that name in a few days. I've been looking at QuantumScape, on the shorting on the way down. I'm like a dog with a bone. Once I kind of figure a name, I just focus like a laser on that. So, but I look at stocks all day long. CrowdStrike and, no, Snap looks good. It looks like it has a key reversal today. So I think, we're looking like we could get this melt up where a lot of these stocks, go higher. There's, some resistance also pretty close by in Snap around 64. So I don't know if that would be the name I would play, but it looks constructive. Everything kind of looks like it's putting in a bottom and could go higher here. So Simran says, I see a double bottom at 51. Yeah, there is. But there's also these reversals at 66 that it's kind of got to go through. So you may have another $3-4 and then it's going to hit some turbulence. There's probably other names that I would kind of look at before that, but that. So I like the way Snow is kind of. I want to see how it closes today. SNOW. If it closes on the high, that's something that could just explode tomorrow. So when something goes lower, close on the high, it looks like it could. So I got out of this AXY yesterday, even though I didn't think it was going to go up. Let me just see what it's doing today. AYX, actually. Yeah, it doesn't look like much. There's actually a better name that looks like AYX, but it looks actually more fertile. Yeah, VRTX. Yeah, I thought that would go lower, and we've actually made a new low today. So I'm going to stick that in there. It looks like AYX, but this is actually the same chart, but better looking. So that is breaking the lows, and that thing looks like it's going to go to new lower lows. I'll probably get short that. It's like like a kid in a candy store. I don't know where to go next. Philippe says, what do you think about CNP and CNP? Yeah. Yeah, it looks obviously very constructive. It just may go into a very sideways, condition. But on balance, it looks constructive. But it's like that's something you have to. MPC marathon, that looks really good too. That looks really good. I like that. It's got a double bottom, inverted head and shoulders. It could hang out here. I think these names you probably have to be more patient, but you could just probably put that on a buy and hold list. MPC. In fact, I'm going to write that down. And I got a whole bunch of stocks that I just put in a slow growth portfolio, and then I don't watch them. Simon Property Group, SPG, IYR. Some of these names I just buy and hold, and I forget about them. So Mustafa says, I get email, and it's exactly as I say. I did QuantumScape and gold. So I've been exactly right on gold. I predicted gold was going to go down when it hit 2,100, when everybody said it was going to 3,000. And I predicted exactly where it was going to go to. I said it's going to go between 1,650 and 1,700. It went to 1,671. And then I got out of gold. I just felt like it was, time was up in that name. And I don't even know what gold's doing today. Let me see what's gold's doing. I've been so focused on this BYND. Yeah, so gold, I felt like there's resistance in this area. I kind of advised our members to take profit, although there was nothing really to tell me. I just had this feeling that we were in an area that is, going to be a tough geography, and so yeah, I bailed out of gold a couple of days ago. SWKS, is that Stanley Works? Yeah, so that has a nice key reversal today. We made a new low, and it looks like you're closing on the high, and it looks like you're right at this support area about 160. So I think that could, and it's sitting right on that long-term neckline. So that is, I'm going to write that down too. That's something that looks like it could just explode from one level to the other, and that's what I'm always looking for. I'm always looking for something that's going to go from one level to the other, and then I figure out, okay, how much risk do I have to take? So that's something that I put a buy stop above today's high, put like a $5 stop loss, and you could make $20 on it. So if you can make 4 or 5 to 1 on a trade, I'll do that all day long. Bolshevik Russia, GME. So that's kind of why I thought Beyond Meat was going to run, because I saw GME and AMC running, and these are these meme stocks. So I would, Look, that company is really worthless, Bolshevik, but you cannot fight price. So, there's an old saying that, the markets can stay irrational a lot longer than you can stay solvent. So GameStop has zero revenues and a $17 billion market cap. So it makes no sense. So eventually physics have to work. That thing has to come back to some reality. But, I don't know if I would get in front of that. Tomorrow you could find it's, gaps up another $50 on you. So I would leave that alone. It's just, there's too much going on in there to mess with that. Let's see, Sava. I'm watching kind of Tesla fail here. Let's see what happens. I mean, there's just there's just so much volatility intraday now. That's why I say you guys really can't focus on the intraday action, because the market will give you so many fake looks. So, I'm long Tesla, and I don't know why this isn't. Oh, there it is. Sava. What is that? SAVA. I mean, it looks like AMC. It looks like one of these meme stocks that, has put the support, but I don't know. You never know when those things are going to run its course and run out of steam. So I kind of wouldn't touch that. So I have a nugget. I have a team read my email. So please just indicate for them to send it to me. Wong says, what's your case on Tesla? I mean, I'm long. I bought it at 6:01 yesterday. And actually, I bought some more just 2 minutes ago at around 6:22. And right now it's reversing. Made a high for the day, and it's kind of coming through, yesterday's low. And I never like to see that if I'm long, but this is kind of still an intraday move. So it could still be a fake out. I'm going to, maybe not overstay my welcome here. This is an area where it could definitely run into some trouble. So I still, when I let's say I would take the opposite devil's advocate. I say, okay, if I want to get out of my longs, then, could I see, getting on the other side? Could I see getting short? And I mean, it could happen, but I don't see prices going down through yesterday's kind of price action. So I am still long Tesla, and I still feel like it's going to go higher. It's just messing around here. And, I never like to see something make a new high and then go through the previous day's close, because then it starts looking like a reversal. But we won't know it's a reversal until, the end of today. I'll start looking at it here, and I still feel like this thing will go higher. There's kind of a gap at 660, and I think it's going to make it there. If you look at it on the weekly, it still feels like this thing has some room to go on the upside. So if you're super aggressive, I would be inclined to buy the dip in Tesla right now. So Valentina says, when you're trading intraday, do you look at the intraday chart? So I try not to. I try not to make decisions, how to initiate a trade. Because right now, Tesla looks like it's a reversal, but it's, 2 hours into the trading day. So until I see how it closes for the day, if it made a new high and then closed on the low today, then that would tell me, everything. So right now, this is just intraday gambling, and, it can go anywhere. So I'm long, and it's coming off. I got in at a good price yesterday around 6:01. So I'm still making money there, but I'll watch it. I still think that it goes higher. Mustafa says, I'm currently short the NASDAQ. Yeah, I don't think so. No, I would not be short here. It's got two inside day bars here, Mustafa, but it's not selling off. It's just kind of consolidating this level. And even if we have a nothing day today, and we had an inside bar yesterday, it's this coiling, and I feel like the next energy could be higher tomorrow, so we could actually get a melt up. So Mustafa, I would bolt on those shorts. But if we reverse today and close on the low, I don't know. I still don't feel like it's in a mode that I'd want to be short here. But I was looking at like DIA, the Dow Jones. Dow Jones has got a reversal here. So Dow Jones is starting to look kind of bad if it closed here. So we're in these areas where there's a lot of resistance, but I think you need to wait, Mustafa, and see how today closes. This is the problem with intraday trading. It looks like one thing now, and it has a certain look now, and then 2 hours later, it's somewhere else. So I think it's just too early to kind of. But I don't think I would be short the Nasdaq right now, and I'm aggressive. I'll get short on the slightest inclination. So I could be wrong. I remember I talked to you out of shorting QuantumScape when it was at whatever it was, 329. On one of those things, and then it dropped to 324. But I got short the very next day. So I kind of like to see where something closes so I can understand my risk. So to me, trading is all about understanding your risk. And like pound New Zealand, a little harder because it has like 300-400 pip swings. Although to my mind, you could probably buy pound New Zealand today right here and put a stop under today's low. So you know exactly where your risk is. So to me, if you know where your risk is, then the upside will take care of itself. How much pound New Zealand will go up? I don't know if it'll go up 200, 300, 800, 2,000. But if I understand my risk and get comfortable with that, then I can let it do what it's going to do. So to me, it's all about quantifying your risk on each trade. Like when I got into BYND yesterday, I was buying it at 121. I saw my risk was 116. So I understood exactly when I was getting in what, I had a strategy, what my parameters are. And so once I kind of, know what the risk is, then the upside, wherever it's going to go, and I had a kind of a feeling that we could go to 140, 160, 180 very quickly. I told my wife, we were watching TV last night. I couldn't even concentrate. I said, I think Beyond Meat's going to be up 20, 30 bucks tomorrow. I just had this feeling. And I bet on that feeling. But to me, there was a quantifiable risk reward when I set up that trade. And it was all about understanding where the risk was. And then, we can't know where something's going and in which time frame it's going to go. But I just thought, okay, I understand where I'm getting in and what my risk is. And then what it's going to do, from there, let's just see what happens. So Valentina wants to look at Square SQ, a name that's linked very much to Bitcoin. I think these payment processors like PayPal and Square are really good long term. They're just somewhat overpriced right now. It looks like it has some support, but I don't know. There's a gap here at, and I don't say trade gaps and play gaps, but there's a gap at 229. It feels like, look, the path to this support here, the path of least resistance is higher. I would probably buy other names that look like it has a little bit more momentum behind it, but it looks okay. So you have a little bit of a double bottom, and today you have what looks like an inside bar. So today's range from high to low is inside yesterday's. And so the way I look at these coils is that I would just put a buy stop above today's high and let the market put you in. And then you also know where your risk is because you could just put under today's low. So I would definitely set up a trade with those parameters if I was looking at it that way. Thomas says, I bought $10,000 of gold for 24.25, moving lower. I told our members to get out of gold. I just had a kind of a squishy feel up here. Had nothing really, there was no reversals or anything. Uh, where did you say you got in? Are you talking about silver or gold? Thomas, you said 24.25. You must be talking about silver. Silver is trading at 27.70. So silver is still, got this trajectory higher. There is some resistance here. The path of least resistance is higher. I just feel like we're going to be bumping and grinding in this resistance zone for a while. So I'm out of the metals. I'll just tell you my thing is I have no position in the metals. I kind of feel like they're vulnerable to a sell-off here, but long term they look higher. So you can do what you want with that information. I'm out of the metals for right now. The dollar, the metals, a lot of these currencies are kind of, in these whippy trading range markets, except the yen trades. The yen trades are now going ballistic. Dollar yen, which I thought might come off. I think dollar yen, the yen trades now are breaking out to the upside. I think you need to be long these yen trades. Euro yen's making a new high, and I think now I was wondering if dollar yen was going to turn lower, and by virtue of the action today in the yen, I think you definitely need to be short the yen and long these yen correlated trades. I think that looks like the big FX trade for the rest of this year. These yen trades could soar because the yen has been in a secular decade-long downtrend against all of these currencies, and now all these pairs are turning higher and taking out these resistance levels. So that's one FX pair that you should look to position in and hold. Probably Swiss yen also. Probably Canadian yen. Every yen pair now is turning around. I don't know about Swiss because Swiss is relatively strong. So Swiss yen is taken off. Every one of these yen pairs is breaking new territory here. So even the Swiss, I haven't been paying attention to that. I'll be honest with you. I've been playing these stocks, and currencies have been pretty quiet. But I've been saying for a long time that these yen trades are in a paradigm shift, shifting from. Let me just see. So yeah, you've broken out on the Swiss yen a while ago. You broke out at 118. You're now at 122, and it looks like there's just blue sky. To 136 here. So these yen pairs, you need to get long. Let's see. Obaid says, I'm also long pound New Zealand and pound US. Yeah, the pound is on balance, very strong. Turned from the weakest to the strongest. Pound US is knocking on the door of this multi-year breakout around 143. We're trading at 142 now. So yeah, I think the pound is changing. That's also a paradigm shift. It was in a decade-long downtrend, and now it's changing. And so, if you have a long-term focus, keep your stops really wide and look to just stay in those positions. Joey says, accelerator service. Yeah, I send out my trades every Sunday, the weekly trades. And those are designed for, longer term horizons. And so when I, send out a trade on Sunday with a buy stop or sell stop, you should leave that pending for the entire week. So I remember a couple of years ago, I had a trade in dollar yen on Sunday at 111.61. And then Monday, Tuesday, and into Wednesday kept going higher. It went to about 112.5. And then at some point, it just crashed and went to 111.61 like on a Wednesday. And I was in that trade for 3.5 months. Francis says, how would you enter a trade that is already broken out like pound yen? So, Francis, that is a good question. On balance, I really don't like being FOMO. I don't like chasing momentum. But, in something like this, if you want to put an itty bitty toe in the water and then wait for a better risk reward, I would say, this is something blindly you could just buy. But, you need to put like a 300 or 500 pip stop. So that means you take a very small position size and just keep in your mind that this could be a 3 or 6 month hold. That, it's 155 now. This thing could go to 175. And that's the time frame. So that's how I like to look at trades. Most of the industry is focusing on how do I take 7 pips out of this bar or 15 pips out of this crossover, and then you try and do that five times a day, and that's just a losing game long term. So what I like to do is see big setups like Pound New Zealand, where I can have the vision of seeing this go up 1,000 pips from here, and then I like to get in here and then forget about it. Just let it go, let it do its thing. If it takes 2 months, 3 months, whatever, I wake up with a 700 pip game, 1,000, 1,200 pip game. That's how I make, huge rips in the market. And I think these yen trades are setting up for a huge rip in the market. So we've got Beyond Meat now back to 143, up $16 for the day, going to new highs. Tesla's just hanging around this 620. I think you could buy Tesla here. I think it's a sneaky little buy that by the end of the day, it'll be back to 627 or something. So Francis, I don't really like, just willy-nilly, just, diving into a trade. I like to see some kind of setup where I see a key reversal, an inside bar, somewhere where I can understand the risk. So these things have already taken off. And so there's no real way to assess risk here. It could be anything. So I would say, think about this for long term. And even if it had a 300 pip pullback, I wouldn't be panicked by that. I would greet that as an opportunity to keep building a position. So what I do and how I make a fortune of money is that I build positions. I get in. I got in at Tesla at 601. Then I bought more today at 622, and I might buy some more. And so when it goes to 660 or 680, now I've built a position and now I've got a massive position for a long-term thing. So I would look at these pound yen with the view of building a position. Get in a little bit now, goes down 120 pips, get in a little bit more, goes down 300 pips. And that's really contrary to the way I typically would advise trading. That's a martingale strategy where you're adding to your losers. But frankly, when I see a setup that is just going to have a big thing, I'll do that sometimes. So right now, kind of the horse has kind of left the barn. It's already had a huge move. So you could just wait in now, and tomorrow it's down 150 pips. And I don't know. I would just have the perspective that I see the big vision for this thing. Certainly Pound New Zealand. I think you close your eyes, buy Pound New Zealand here, put your stop at today's low, and build a position. So whatever Pound New Zealand is today, the next time it hits, 198 again, it's probably not going to stop there. So I'd look to just keep on adding to my position. So it's at 194.5 today. I'd buy some here. Goes to 196. I'd buy some more. Goes to 198. I'd buy some more. And then I just let it go. So, yeah. Yeah, so you see how Tesla was selling off just a moment ago. It was at 618 and now it's 620.5. That is the problem with intraday trading. So that's why I have a broader vision. I'm looking at the daily and the weekly and I'm going, does this sell-off make sense? Should I get out of this position? And if I should get out of my longs, then I say to myself, well, then does that mean I should go short? Does that mean it's going to go lower? And then I try and picture prices going down. And for Tesla, I can't picture the prices going down. So prices aren't going down, they got to go up. And so I don't know how it's going to get there. And that's why looking at the markets, every on a 5-minute chart, every 4 minutes, right now Tesla, careened from 626 all the way to 618. And so, if you're looking at it on a 5-minute chart, it looks pretty frightening. It looks like a new trend is emerging. And now I'm long and I'm looking at that. I should have a heart attack. But then I toggle it down to a bigger time frame, like a daily or a weekly, and then it kind of quietens it down. Then that down move doesn't look so big. So 626 to 618 on a 5-minute chart looks like a huge trade. But if you look at it on the weekly chart, it's still kind of sitting at the high part of the week. So, I just advise that you look at the bigger time frames to quieten everything down. And this is the opposite. I think most people are trading on too shorter time frames. So when you're looking at a 5-minute chart or a 15-minute chart or a 4-hour, you're seeing all these things, then you're rushing in, you're going to short Tesla. Now all of a sudden it's going higher, you got to get out. Now you think, well, now I got to buy it, then it comes off again. And then you wonder why 2 months later you've lost all your money. Nothing happened, and yet you were chasing all these, these emotional moves. So I try and quieten everything down by looking at these bigger time frames. And then also having a bigger risk reward horizon. So instead of taking a 50-cent stop, I'll take a $6 stop. And instead of having a $2 reward, I'll have a $20 reward. So, I'm in BYND. I started buying it yesterday at 121. It's at 142. I'm not getting out. Michael says, for FX, do you look at dollar index or relative strength, or are you just looking at price and all the pairs? So I do look at the dollar index. It's trading at this major support area. But I think dollar index is going much lower long-term based on the long-term chart. So my vision for Australian pound is that it's going to go higher. So whatever consolidation they're trying to work through, they're going to break out to the upside. So I look at, all kinds of different things. I get different looks, at different places. And then, so I think dollar index, I said so last March that it made a 10-year high, and for the next 5 years, it's going to go lower. Because the dollar tends, if you look at the sequences in dollar index, if you go back and look at a 45-year chart, the dollar will go directionally 5 to 10 years. It'll pick a direction and then go in that direction. So last year was year one that it started this downtrend. So I think we've got 3 to 5 years to go of a lower dollar move here. What's your outlook on Australian, Canadian? Those are funky pairs, the exotics. I think it's going lower. I like that lower. I think the Canadian is, I like that lower. It's just been dancing around at the support area at 93, but I would definitely short that. I think it looks like it's really going to go lower. The Canadian is one of the strongest currencies on the board. New Zealand had this short squeeze. I'd probably short New Zealand dollar under today's low also and put a buy stop above today's high. Let me look at dollar Canadian here. Yeah, so dollar Canadian's in this giant long-term support around 120, but I think that eventually that support gets taken out. So Tesla's coming back down again, coming toward the day lows, and I don't know, if we take out the lows, I may just clock out of this one, and it's kind of acting pretty. And so now we've got this reversal look. We made a new high. We coming through yesterday's close, so. I won't know until the end of the today. So if we, end up closing at 611 on the low of the day after a huge key reversal, I may consider going short. So, again, a little bit dangerous making these intraday calls. Since I got in at 601, I may at some point, if we go through today's low, just punch out of yesterday's, trade. I'm making so much on BYND that, this is kind of like a throwaway trade. Nugget says, is Tesla going to 530? If it goes to 530, it's going to 450. So this is really kind of, to me, a real make or break area for Tesla. It broke out of a huge uptrend line, multi-year uptrend line a couple of weeks ago. And now, we're really retesting it. So if we fail at that uptrend line, then I think we're going to break hard and, go lower. But Uh, if it goes back to 530, it's going to go to 450. So for right now, I don't know, man. I still, I don't know. I have to see some more price action. It's still at the high part of the week. So we've got a day and a half of trading left. Let's see what we look like at the end of the week. So, yeah, I don't know. I'm just going to keep an eye on that. At worst, I might just get out of half my position now. I got in at 601. I might just punch out of some of it. But, this intraday trading is, it's gambling. And you start get emotional. Then you start looking at, things on a 5-minute frame rather than seeing the big picture. Then you miss the big move. So for me, I'm trying to take the big moves. I got in at 601. My vision was, 640, 660. And so, unless something really takes me out, I kind of want to see if I can hang around for that. Yeah, I mean, the markets are there's just so much internal churn right now. it churns your stomach trading these things. I mean, because the indexes are all bumping at all-time highs, but within, each index every day, the S&P goes higher than the Dow, and the next day the Dow is stronger than the Nasdaq, and then they do this rotation. So it's a lot of grinding, within this thing. So it's very hard to kind of get a feel, but these things are grinding higher. So, BYND is now drifting a little lower again. Went to 143. It's now 3140. So this midday. It's 12 noon. For the next 2 hours, this is what you get, just this noise. And so, that's why I'm just talking to you guys. I'm trying not to react to it. I've got these huge positions. I want to, kind of still stay in them. But, let's see what happens. So Philippe says, will pound yen hit the resistance of November 2017? Maybe a good moment to add. So typically when you get to these resistance areas, you do get some, like pound New Zealand went to 198 and you got a huge sell off to 192. I don't know if, pound yen goes to 153. It looks like an obvious resistance, and maybe the worst that happens, it just kind of consolidates or fluctuates there. I mean, typically you do get a bit of a sell off at major resistance levels. I don't know if that's going to happen. I mean, these yen pairs could get, catch the market by surprise. It could get going so quickly and go through that resistance like butter. And then maybe the way you do it is it goes through the resistance. And then sometimes when you fly through resistance, it then curls back and retests the resistance. So what became old resistance becomes new support. So this could fly through the resistance, maybe takes half your position off if it goes 200-300 pips above the resistance, and then wait for the retest and then nail it right there. Jazz says, any comment on Twitter, TWTR? I haven't looked at that name. It's also right on this trend line that it's bounced again. I would imagine maybe we get some momentum higher, but it's in the middle of the tennis court now. It may go higher, it may go lower. I can't really tell. So when I have something like that, I don't know. Everything is bounced off this long-term uptrend line. And, Twitter, Tesla actually broke through the downtrend line that everything has been holding to. And that's why I thought Tesla was done when it broke through that. But, very often it'll retest the breakout area, which on Tesla is still a little higher. It's about 630, 40, 650, 660. So even if it's going to go lower, I feel like Tesla could go back, retest that breakout area, and then go back down. So, but I feel like Tesla's like beyond meat. It kind of gave you this look of a breakdown, and then it's kind of dug in. So that means it could go the other way very quickly. So I thought actually Tesla could go, was going to go up very quickly today, have the same kind of feel as Beyond Meat, and it still could. Its day is young. Amazon, I feel like Amazon is setting up for another move higher too. It's been in a 2-year consolidation. I mean, I wouldn't really play this name other than for long term, but I feel, it's in this long term consolidation. And it has this head and shoulders, which it hasn't broken down from. And if it starts trading above 33.11, I would buy it because it's kind of holding here. It's got these higher lows. So look, if you're a long term, kind of player, Amazon probably will go higher. It's been in this multi-year consolidation, probably will at some point break to the upside. Balance sheets. What about Lyft? Yeah, I would stick with that. It came down so hard that it might just have to like pound New Zealand, have to bang sideways and build something before it can find another leg to go higher. But I would just leave the stop under yesterday's low. And if it's good, it should keep going. Let me just take a look at Uber. Yeah, Uber's got the nasty reversal today. But again, I'm looking at what looks like a reversal now, and the market doesn't close for 4 hours. So, let's see what it looks like in 4 hours. But the price action in Uber doesn't look good right now. But it's still got these higher lows. So, can't really figure shorting it right now. So, that's really it. I told you there's another stock, this VRTX. If you're looking for a stock that's going to go lower, I think that's got to look that's going to go lower. And I'll probably look at some calls, some puts, and look at shorting this name, VRTX. Again, this is like kind of getting in these yen pairs. It's somewhat bouncing at this level, which I like. So I'd like to see a little bounce in VRTX and then maybe try and catch this thing. So CrowdStrike, I'm looking at CRM. All these stocks look good. So the Nasdaq, the next move looks like it's going to go higher. All these stocks are starting to look pretty constructive. Intuit, INTU, made a new high and it's kind of hanging out here. So I don't know. Right now, I'm in BYND and Tesla, and I still feel Tesla is going to make a go for it. I can't see it going down. So that's why even when it looked bad now, I just can't draw in my mind it dropping to 610, And if I can't see it going down, then it'll find a way to go up. And, again, it's doing it again. It was 618 2 minutes ago. It's 620 and a half. So I have a feeling this thing's going to work its way. And I wouldn't be surprised, at the end of the day, we're 628, 635, whatever. This AYX is coming down again. So I got out yesterday, and I just felt like there wasn't any way for this thing to have a sustainable move. And, it's kind of coming off today, as is kind of QuantumScape. So those are two names that I would look at short. All right, guys, I think I'm going to leave it there. Thanks again for checking in, and I will see you next week. Thanks.